Welcome in. You're listening to Medical Spa Insider, presented by the American Med Spa Association. We are happy to have you with us. This week, AmSpa founder Alex Thiersch catches up with a friend of the pod, Taylor Siemens, to discuss what she's learned about leadership and more while starting her new venture, Kairos Aesthetic Medicine. And if you want to help lead others to this episode, ratings and reviews are greatly appreciated.
All right, everybody, welcome to the program, Medical Spa Insider. This is Alex Thiersch, your host, the podcast for the American Med Spa Association, and we have a returning guest. I don't even know how many times you've been on the show, Taylor, like multiple times. You are a fan favorite and friend of AmSpa and one of our own. The lovely and talented Ms. Taylor Siemens, Mrs. Taylor Siemens. She and her husband, John, are good friends of AmSpa. We've been working with you for a long time. Taylor is currently the now what's your current title of Kairos Aesthetic Medicine? What do you call yourself?
I mean, I call myself a nurse practitioner, but I guess I'm
Nurse
technically the
practitioner?
founder and owner as well. But yeah.
Founder? Okay. It's Kairos Aesthetic Medicine, right? Okay,
Yes.
gotcha. So you are a nurse practitioner, you are a trainer, you are an incredible speaker. You do a lot of training for laser devices and for injectable companies. You've done a lot of things in your life, and recently transitioned out of running a multi-location clinic to opening up your own business and now running your own practice. So you've kind of taken this journey from being a provider at the beginning to then becoming kind of someone who operates and runs multi-site locations, and now you're an entrepreneur and an owner. So you've taken this whole journey, and we want to get into a little bit about what that journey entails, what it means to be a leader, how you got there, because you're still only like 22 years old, which is amazing. And so you've accomplished so much, but it's not easy to put on these different hats, and you've managed to do it very seamlessly. You're doing stuff for us. I'm not sure that you sleep very much. But nonetheless, you always have a smile on your face. You always deliver. So before we get into all that, welcome back. How are things? You've got your new practice. How long have you been open?
Oh gosh, since November. So just a few months. We're little babies back in the industry again. So yeah, November we opened and we're having a blast. It's been so fun.
That's awesome.
My team is amazing. We were just talking. I get to bring my dog with me to work every day. Our patients love our dog. So just a good old family environment in a little small practice again, and we're having the time of our lives.
That's so exciting. So tell me a little bit about Kairos. Like what's your number one? Where's the name come from?
Yeah, I'll make that story very short, as short as I can. But Kairos means time. So it's not like
Okay.
chronos, chronological, not like a watch, but its time is in like an appointed season or a season of significance. And so that is very much what Kairos has been for me, for my team, is it was undeniable that it was just the season for us to step into this and also be able to meet patients in their season of significance, whatever that means for them and their aesthetic journey.
Oh, I like it. No, that's cool. That's cool. I like it. Now, how did you how did you come up with that? I remember back in the day when I was thinking of, this is not for AmSpa, but in the former life, I was looking up like Greek or Latin words and I would like scour the dictionary to find names for companies. How did you come up with that? Like, where did that come from?
Yeah, it's in a verse in Ephesians in the Bible. So it
Okay.
came from a church sermon. My husband and I had just kind of been feeling like, man, we're feeling called to something, but we didn't really know what. We couldn't put our finger on it. And then we read this specific verse that is talking about recognizing the importance of recognizing appointed seasons, and that there are significant seasons in your life, and that it's our responsibility to be mindful of those things, and that sent us on this whole journey of founding Kairos.
I love that. That's awesome. It kind of brings peace of mind, right? So
Yeah.
I can see how you can build that into your whole your whole mindset and practice. So
Absolutely.
tell me about I've never been down there. I'm going to be down in Dallas here, not too much longer, and I want to come see it. What's it like? Like you've come from running, a multiple clinics. I think there was four, five, six, whatever locations there were, and now you're running just one. What's different about yours? How big is it? How many rooms do you have? What are you trying to achieve with your clinic right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's so different. Last time I spoke to you, I think I had a team of probably 64 that we were running and managing with
Yeah.
huge growth plans. And overnight, I dropped to a team of four all of a sudden. And so life is very different now. I'm so unbelievably thankful for my time with multi-site. Our owner is a dear friend of mine, and we built something really incredible that we're really proud of. And um, it shaped a lot of who I am and how I practice and think operationally. Um, but it's different too. We had founded that specific brand for growth and for scale. And so before we ever opened our first doors, a lot of it was about how do we build this as big as we can, as fast as we can. And building something for scale is very different than a boutique clinic. And just the
Mhm.
contrast, honestly, it's like we did not open practices there that were not pristine and perfect and exactly part of the brand and exactly what it needed to be. Because that's how you scale. That's how you build something to
Right.
sell and be able to move on from. But Kairos has been really quite the antithesis. I mean, we have six treatment rooms, so it's not a small place. But when we opened, nothing was perfect. Our paint on the walls were not perfect. The furniture was not perfect. In fact, starting off, our very first patients that were booking that I didn't even know, these were not patients that were following me. They were just brand new patients. We set up the phone number and they called and they're like, oh, we want to come in for a treatment. And I told them, oh, hey, I don't think I'm going to be able to see patients for another 3 months. We have to move into the place. We had our certificate of occupancy already, but
Mhm.
it was not looking pristine by any means. And the very first patient said, oh, can I bring my own folding chair? And that's when it really hit me. Like, it's not about having the best decorated or the best or the most expensive floors and furniture. Patients just
Mhm.
really want to be seen and cared for and have space to express themselves fully. And so that's what we're building here. And I mean, if I showed you around, I don't even have art up on the walls yet. We'll get there slowly but surely.
Mhm.
But we just have very different intentions this time around. And neither are wrong, neither is bad. They have there's a place for both of
Yeah.
those, but it's been a lot of fun to experience something very different than what I had built before.
Yeah, how's that been though? Because it is different. I mean, in so many ways. I mean, you don't have, you're not answering to corporate interests. You've got your own, you're doing your own thing. Um, but at the same time, it's just, it's got to be hard for you as someone who is used to running a tight ship and doing things a certain way to kind of letting go a little bit and allowing things to just kind of breathe and be. Has that been a tough transition?
You, I would have thought that it was going to be a test and just transition, knowing myself. But no, it's been really enjoyable. It's been really fun to involve our patients in most of our decisions. I think, my team has a lot more say than I've ever been able to have a team have say in things before. And so we really just it feels really special. And we feel very honored that our patients are trusting us to build this space for them. In being able to involve my team a lot more in the practice we want to build, not the practice that we have to build because we're answering to, larger, stakeholders and larger interests. And so no, it's actually been really freeing in a way that I would not have anticipated it to be. Now, we're
Yeah.
still, me, we're still very structured. I mean, SOPs and operational and all the things, like it is still very much a tight ship. But it's a ship that we're kind of building together as we grow rather than people having to just walk in and already accept the status quo for how things have to be.
Hmm. That's interesting. Yeah. And, and I promise we'll get to some of the kind of, leadership skills and some of the things
Yeah.
that I want to talk about. But I'm always curious about this, not just from you, but in our industry, I feel like there are um, several husband and wife teams who operate medical spas, and it's
Hmm.
um, not, and usually the wife is kind of the earner. It's just kind of the way that it is. I'm curious, how's it been? Because you've always worked with your husband. He's always been a part of what you do. Now he's really a part of what you do. He's coming into work. He's helping run the practice. How's that transition been? And what's are you having a good time with him? Is he enjoying life too? It's got to be a bit of a change, but at the same time, it's got to be a very, very welcomed and exciting time for both of you.
Yeah. So John and I have worked together full time now for about, or he's worked full time with me for 5 years now. So
Right.
we had our training consulting company even while I was running the multi-site locations, and those are separate businesses.
Yep.
And so he was really running the day to day of the training consulting. So we already worked together, albeit it was
Yep.
only, maybe a couple hours a day that we were working on that business. And now they're very much merged and blended. We do a lot of
Yeah.
training out of our practice here too. But he's having fun also. I think for him, he's always been like, people ask me how our thoughts on KPIs or running a practice and patient care. And he's never been able to speak to those because he was not involved in that side of the business. And so I think he's really enjoying getting to see more of the day to day of what he hears us teaching and educating about. But to be honest, he doesn't get too involved in the patient care side thing. He's so busy with his other role. But like today, our front desk is sick, so he's playing front desk. So he's still getting kind of a more a taste of what we do on
Yeah.
a day to day basis here.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So what, I mean, and as far as treatments go and your ideal patient, are you, who are you, what are you focused on? Are you still, like who's your, what's your focus right now is, and who are you looking
Yeah.
to bring in?
So we focus on three things: skin, systems, and structure. And so we say for skin, that's all of our energy-based device. So actually like the topicals, our retail,
Mhm.
things like hydrofacial and our lasers that we actually treat the skin with. That is a huge part of our business. My specialty is laser medicine, so I spend most of my time doing that.
Mhm.
Structure is our injectables, so whatever we're doing to the structure of the face. And then our systems is bodily systems. So we have a really large and robust longevity medicine department. I
Mhm.
have a nurse practitioner, Danielle, who is brilliant and has done longevity medicine for about 6 or 7 years. And so she runs that aspect of it. So we can really blend all of those things. And really, what we tell our patients is our whole goal, we exist to help people age with intention. And so, whatever that means to a patient, whether it's through skin, structure, or systems, we are here to help you age with intention where they really feel empowered with their aging process.
That's awesome. And as always, I'm impressed with your ability to kind of have it teed up and you know what you're going after. You've got everything. You've got a focus. And you're always you're always laser focused on what you want, and I think that's awesome. I do want to ask, as far as what's looking back on your journey, because it's been, I mean, do you even remember when you were just a provider? I mean, that was a long time ago. Like, looking back to when you were just a provider working for some, like when you first got into aesthetics. Um,
Mhm.
I feel like I didn't know you back then, but you must have always had like a certain um gravitas about you, because you've just kind of come in and just kind of taken a lot of this by storm, and you've got a lot of confidence, and people trust you and they listen to you. But you've transitioned from being just a provider, um, to now you're a trainer, and then you went very, very quickly on to becoming an operations manager. What's that? what's that been like, and how do you shift from doing each one to now where you're, I mean, you are really the boss at this point. I mean, you're in charge. Um, how do you how do you do that and still keep your sanity and still keep your relationships? Because it's a very
Hmm.
difficult thing to do, I find.
Yeah. Yeah, business has always been my goal. Like the entrepreneurship parts of this industry is really what attracted me to this industry. I had a mentor in college, so thankful for him. His name was Kent Hance. He was the chancellor at Texas Tech, and he really took me under his wings and poured into me as like a 17, 18, 19-year old in my undergrad and really helped me recognize through, we had lunch once a month for several years while I was at Tech. And he told me one day, Taylor, you're going to do really big things in business. I believe that, but you have some things going against you. And these are just facts. This is not to offend anyone. And it's true. It was true at the time, but he said, you're a woman. You're going to have to work really hard for people to take you seriously in business. That's just how it works. He said, number two, you're a minority. I'm
Mm-hmm.
half Black, half Latina. You're going to have to work really hard for people to take you seriously in business. And number three, you're really young. And so he said, one of those things is solvable, your age. So if you will go to nursing school, you can
Mm-hmm.
solve the age problem, and then you'll have time to work really hard to show people that the gender and the race doesn't matter. You can still do big things. And so he really was the one who talked me into healthcare because he was like, nurses work 3 days a week, 4 days a week if they want to. And then you have 3 to 4 days a week to focus on how to help get other people to take you seriously, despite, the things that we discussed. And nurses make good money in the hospital. So you'll have money to be able to learn and get better at business. And so that's why I actually went to nursing school, on top of the fact that there are a lot of people who are great at business. There are a lot of people who are great clinically, but there are very few people who understand the clinical and the business aspects. And so I came
Mm-hmm.
into this
Yep.
industry knowing that this is really what I wanted to do. And I'm just thankful that I have my whole career has been filled with amazing people like him who have really poured into me and helped me figure out how to hold both of those things really well.
Have you found, looking back on it now that you've come as far as you have you found that any one of those three things has hindered you either at all or more than the others?
Maybe my personality isn't really one to find the negatives in things. I'm always looking for the
Mm-hmm.
opportunity and always looking for the possibilities. And so I think I just don't have the personality to look for the negatives in things. It's just not really how I'm wired. So if they have hindered me, I'm not privy to them, and we found a way around them. So it didn't make a difference long term. But I'm sure there have been situations that people are discounted because of many things. Maybe even in this
Yeah.
world, maybe even men are discounted a little bit because it's a female dominated world. We all have things that could be seen as negatives in some people's eyes, and we all have a lot more things that are positives. It's really just about finding the people that believe in those positives and are willing to help you get where you want to be because of those.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point. I had kind of the same answer for you. Not that I would have your answer, but I feel like I've
Yeah.
not noticed, at least as long as I've known you, I've not noticed anything really holding you back. You've kind of just blasted through, and it is often a positive attitude and just but it's not just that. It's just, your ability and how you do things. Um, Now you've always been, um, obviously an entrepreneur. You've had your consulting business, and even as a manager of multiple clinics, you were still, I mean, you were still kind of you are managing. But now that you are, an owner and in charge of your own clinic, your own, aesthetic clinic, um, have you noticed what's the difference there? Do you feel different? Do you feel a little bit different in how you um, are treated by your employees, and has that affected your leadership skills. And I guess in the end, what I'm trying to get at is how should people who are out there listening, as they start to become, if they want to open a clinic, like how do they approach that from a leadership perspective? Because it is difficult to kind of make that transition.
Yeah. For me, it's actually gotten a little bit easier. I think because, this is my practice, it is my business. So the owner is over culture. And that's just the
Hmm.
fact. That's how this works. And so with the previous practice, again, the owner is a dear friend. I owe so much of my success to him personally, actually. He poured into me in a way that no one has poured into me as to develop business acumen and the freedom to make mistakes and him help
Hmm.
me figure out those mistakes. And so, but at the end of the day, it was his company. And so he was in charge of culture. And so there were certain aspects of maybe certain hires that are a little more, just not difficult to manage because they're difficult people, but it was to the culture that he wanted to create. And so as an employee there, I really had to bend towards that to match the culture that they wanted. Where now, having my own practice, I'm in charge of culture. That is what the role of an owner is. And so it's actually been a lot easier to build better relationships, have people who understand me and who want to work like I do, because that's the type of person that we're attracting to our culture. So I've actually found it to be much easier to work with my team and build with my team now because they also know who I am. And so people don't want to work that wouldn't enjoy working with me, don't work here. And so
Hmm.
it's a lot easier for us to stay on the same page and have honest conversations and have a lot of fun while we work as well, because it's all like-minded individuals versus, bending to a culture someone else is creating, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're getting the chance to kind of, well, I mean, you're creating your own thing, right? So you get to
Mm-hmm.
do and create what you want, which is cool. That's the reason that people should start their own businesses. What's your what's your primary method for bringing in patients? Like number one, new patients, and then the primary method for getting existing patients to return. What's your secret sauce there?
Yeah. New patients, we are really very lucky. We have not started running ads yet. We have not started anything other than we just post on social media. We get a lot of new patients that find us on social media. We do a lot of educational videos,
Mhm.
YouTube, things of that nature, and referrals has been really great for us. The intention was to start running ads soon because ads are important in finding new business. But we're really liking the quality of the people that we're getting in right now, even if it's a little slower, just a few new patients every week. They come in ready to purchase and ready to establish with us. And so we're kind of riding that high right now before we start any type of advertising, which is great, but it brings in a lot more people who are just exploring. They're not necessarily
Yeah.
ready to purchase. And so,
And real quick, I want to when you get referral, a lot of folks want referrals. Is there a
yeah.
way that you facilitate that or kind of grease the wheels to increase the number of referrals that you can get? Are you asking folks for referrals? How do you facilitate that?
Yeah, we do. We're very I don't know, just authentically honest with our patients.
Yeah.
And we tell them when they're checking out, hey, I am a new business. I need your help to grow. If you want this
Mhm.
place to exist, if you want to build what we all say we're building, then I need your help. So please tell your friends, let your coworkers know. When you get a compliment on your skin, please give them our card. And so, to a lot of people, even for me, a couple years ago, if I heard that, I would have probably thought, like, geez, they sound a little desperate,
Yeah,
But the
totally.
culture that we're creating here, our patients are so involved in what we're building. They really want to be a part of the story at Kairos. And so they'll literally call us and they'll be like, I just met a lady at the grocery store and I gave them your card. Hopefully she calls. Like they want to
Yeah.
see us succeed. I mean, I kid you not, we're the first 2 months we were open, I didn't have any furniture in my lobby. And so now when patients come back, they're like, oh, we got furniture. Oh, we got artwork. Like they really feel and are a part of what we're building here. And so I think that's just been the
Yeah.
key is
That's
our
awesome.
success is their success, and they're excited to contribute to that.
Yeah. That's so interesting because you're right. I feel like sometimes you just have to ask, right? You're going to miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And it's not being desperate. It's just being authentic. And I think that's a
Yeah.
great pitch. Like we're trying to build something. If, this is part of, and the way you put it, you said, we're trying to build something and you included them in it too, which I think is really, really cool. Cause that also must help them with return patients, which was the second part of my question is how
Yeah.
you get folks to come back.
Yeah, same thing. We ask them, hey, okay, your next treatment is going to be XYZ in 4 weeks or 4 months. Let's go ahead and get that booked today. Our rebooking rate is almost 100%. It's so high up there because we're guiding the patients on what we need next. And so, I really have gone back to 10 years ago when I was just first entering the industry. I was at a practice that did not recruit patients for me. I was in charge of getting my own patients. And I had so many shirts that I would just like write Botox dealer and like laser queen on them. And I literally would just go hang out at Walmart up and down the aisles and have cards with me because I knew if I spent an hour roaming at Walmart, at least two people would ask me, like, Botox dealer, oh, I've been interested in that. And I would have my card
Mhm.
ready. I would not go grocery shopping. I was literally there just to find patients. And so
Mhm.
that's honestly what we're doing here and just telling people, we want to exist a very long time to continue serving you. I need your help in doing that. Would you be willing to share with your friends and family?
Yeah.
And everyone is. Nobody says no to that. They all want to be a part of that. If they had a good experience, they want their friends and family to experience that as well.
Yeah. That's no, that's great. I love that. And I think it's authentic and that's what people want. Um,
Yep.
I mean, that's so exciting. And I mean, I know it's you just opened, but do you have a kind of a goal in mind for where you want to get with Kairos in the next 1 year, 3 years, 5 years?
You know, Not that I'm ready to share yet. I spend a lot of time kind of going back and forth on what we want to do. It will honestly, and this sounds, gosh, 2 years ago, Taylor, if I ever heard this, I keep saying this, I would have been like, this girl is crazy. What is she saying? But it's really up to my team. I love the team that we have here, and they really are a part of this. Our patients too. And so
Mhm.
I will grow this to be very big if that's what our team and our patients want it to be. If our team and our patients really decide, hey, we love the boutique feel, we love that, you guys are willing to come in at certain times, and we like it feeling small, or our team feels they have a good balance with their family. I'm also happy to keep it small as well. I think that's the beautiful thing about this industry is it can look so many different ways based on what you want it to be. And
Mhm.
so, not quite ready to hold yet. My team is chomping at the bit. They're like, no, let's do this bigger. We can, but we're also just like sitting here for a second and enjoying the calmness before we start trying to before we start adding the pressure. To be honest with you, um,
Yeah.
our bills are
Yeah.
paid. My team is happy. We're not struggling to make ends meet. Our patients are over the moon with their experience. And so I'm very comfortable with a slow growth to be able to keep that in check.
There's something to be said for that, there really, really is. It's and not a lot of folks can stick to that mindset. It's so myself included. It's so easy to just want to go after it, the next shiny object and just say, I want to get it. And,
Yeah.
but sometimes where you are is the best place. So
Yeah.
that's that's tough.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough because it's those callings and your team and everyone else. It's not going to go away. It's only going to get stronger.
Yeah.
That pull is
Yeah.
going to get stronger.
I venture to say that will be it. And again, we have a huge training and consulting component to the business too. And so it's so important that we continue growing because we need to be able to teach from our experience and be able to show people how we did these things. But we're just so focused on doing it the right way first before we go into overdrive. So yeah, next time you see, who knows, at Med Spa show, I'll probably be like, "Oh, just kidding, Alex. We're going big, but we're just enjoying it at the moment." My lead esthetician, is, gosh, my favorite person probably on the planet. She just had a baby 3 weeks ago, and so she's on maternity leave. But even our patients are like, we ask them, what do you guys want this to look like? Brittany can take, several months off and just be gone
Mhm.
because she has to get the baby to a good place, or she could probably come back in about 6 weeks. But she's gonna be wearing her baby like while she's taking care of you and checking you in. And they all were like, we want the baby there. We want this to be a place where you guys can continue living your life to enjoy what you're building. And so I think we're just enjoying, the grace of our patients so much right now that, we'll build whatever they tell us to build, honestly.
Well, and it's I hear you. It's not so much whatever they tell you to build, it's whatever kind of the atmosphere that they
Yeah.
kind of demand, right? It's just
Yeah.
which is cool, which is really the culture though that you've created. So
Yeah.
and the training real quick, I don't want to give that short shrift because that is also cool. You've done a lot of training for AmSpa. And what how big is the training center and what are you going to be doing out of that? Just so we know.
Yeah, so training center, it's varied. We have people that just come in as a practice or an individual to train with us, to shadow us. But we do really large formatted training as well, group training, where we host up to, depending on what the topic is, up to 30 people, where we do a lot of didactic and we actually treat patients and they're watching, all the way to just business consulting on how we have built and our experience with that. So it's a lot of fun. We've got just a big conference room that we can host all the people in, and our treatment rooms, thankfully, are large enough that we can hold that many people, to watch. And so yeah, that's been a really fun aspect of that. And so for the team we hire too, really they all have educators' hearts. They want to train the industry. They're not just trying to do it for a quick buck. They care about advancing their craft for the sake of the industry to be able to share with others. And so it's just a really fun environment when you have people who are obsessed with being excellent just to share with other people. It makes for a really fun
Yeah,
place.
that's awesome. Um, I guess when it comes to leadership and guiding a team like this, you've had a lot of practice and experience and some training, even when you talked about having somebody that worked with you when you were even in college. Um, if there's folks out there that are listening, because I've heard this all the time, I want to get more leadership training. I want to learn how to do things in a way where I can start guiding my own ship, building my own practice. It's not so easy to figure out where to go. Like you've learned on your own, but you've also obviously been very proactive about it. Where can folks go? Are there places that you kind of recommend to people if they come to you and say, I want to learn, I want to do what you do. Where can I go to find out? Um,
Mhm.
are there some basic kind of places or things that you kind of refer them to that they can go to learn about leadership skills and learn the soft skills and the management skills and all those things that it takes to become a leader that will allow them to run a practice?
Yeah, I mean, so many places. I think a lot of times people in our industry forget there's a whole world out there outside of our industry as
Yeah,
well. And
that's a
so
good point.
the majority of my leadership training has been outside of the industry. Not that there aren't great people to teach
Hmm.
that here, and they're easy to find. We could list all of those people off. They're so involved in AmSpa as well. But I like learning from people who aren't in my industry. They teach me to think about things differently. And so there are a plethora of leadership classes. Right. I just enrolled in a new mastermind group.
Hmm.
There's about 25 of us that meet weekly and we discuss business. We review each other's, like, I show them, hey, this is my marketing I'm playing in my room. They don't know me, they don't know my business. Like, what does this convey to you? You want people who are outside of your business who can give you feedback. Um, But I think that's the biggest part about, everyone's a leader first and foremost. If you don't, if even if you're not the owner, if you're working in a practice and you don't consider yourself to be a leader, you are wrong and you're limiting your growth. We are all leaders and have the ability to influence how a business does, how our team does, how our patients, respond to us. But learning those things, I'm a huge reader of autobiographies. I think autobiographies are a great place to learn because you can pick people that you respect, businesses they built, and they literally will tell you exactly how they did it and how they learned these leadership principles where you can learn from them. I think autobiographies are just a huge cheat code to anyone building a business. Um,
That's interesting.
yeah, but I think that's the biggest thing too. Your business can only actually grow as much as you're growing as a human. Like you have to
Mhm.
focus on your growth more than you even focus on the business. Otherwise, you will be the bottleneck on your success.
Yeah. What's your favorite autobiography?
Oh gosh, my favorite is always the one that I'm reading at the moment. So I
Yeah.
don't, I'm in the middle of one of the John D. Rockefeller autobiographies. There's like 18, but this one I do believe is the best. It's about how he built up his oil companies. It's
Yeah.
a biography, not an autobiography. But gosh, it's already teaching me so much about just like supply chain and the way that I approach vendors on how he owned every single relationship to control cost and be able to scale his oil companies faster. I mean, there's just so many tidbits and all of these stories that people are freely sharing, so you don't have to
Mhm.
make the same mistakes that they made. You just have to go find it.
Yeah, no, you should aim small, Taylor. Go for the
I'm
Rockefeller.
like, no, I'm not going to grow that big, but John D. Rockefeller.
Yeah, that's the one to go after. That's awesome though. Well, I mean, it was great talking to you. It's always good to catch up. And it's so cool to see what you've been up to. I know, first of all, you're gonna kill it. You get as big as you want to get or as small as you want to get. It is interesting though, and I can't wait to see when you start to run into those inflection points, which way you decide to go, because
Yeah.
it's tough because it's really tough to resist when the growth is staring you right in the face, and it's
Mm,
like um because it's hard, and this is just for any it doesn't matter what business it is. It's like, and I remember we hit this with AmSpa and with the medical spa show, and it's just it there's becomes opportunity begets opportunity, and it just continues, and the more success that you feel, the more success it brings, and that builds on itself for a while. But then the problem is at some point, um, that works. It just then you just all of a sudden you look around and you realize that you are incredibly busy and stressed,
mm.
and everybody is stressed and everyone's running around, and it's just like you're like, this is not how it used to be. We all used to be really, really happy, and yes, we're big, and some people, thrive in that, and that's what they want, and others, it becomes different, and it's a very interesting dynamic to see businesses go through that process. Um,
Yeah.
but it's also, it's also part of the process of a company that's growing that big. But others just, you don't have to. You can also. I always think there's always a path to just kind of be small business. You don't necessarily have to go big if you don't want. But
Yeah. I think that's the beauty of spending time before you open something, or even if you're already in the midst of it, is really, again, figuring out like what do you want from your life personally? We all obviously care about business. We need to earn a living. But I think when you're so sure about the life that you're wanting to build and you know what that means to you and your family or whoever makes decisions in your life with you, that it makes it a lot easier to not feel the pressures of feeling like you
Mhm.
have to do all these things, unless that's what your goals dictate, right? Which is great. There's a place for that. But especially in this industry, we spend a lot of time kind of looking to the left and the right, comparing our journeys and our stories with other people that I don't do a lot of that because my desires and my goals are very different from other people that I spend my time with. And so it makes it so much easier to applaud others and celebrate what they're doing without feeling like you have to chase the exact same things.
Yeah,
Um,
it's true.
so I
It's
think
a
that would
really
be
good
my
point.
biggest advice for people is, to what end? You need to know the definition of that and be
Yeah,
comfortable with that.
very true.
But also from a leadership perspective, making sure you have people in your life who are bold and honest and will hold you accountable to your growth. I have people in my life that know the type of person I want to be and the type of leader that I want to be. And so they have full permission to speak over that when I'm not being that. And it really makes sure that I grow.
Mhm.
I talked about the previous owner of where I was before, and he is one of those, was always very honest of where I was falling short and not meeting where I said I wanted to be, not what he expected me to be, but to be the person that I need to be to build the life that I want. And a lot of those were such hard conversations, and they're hard to hear, and they're
Mhm.
not fun to hear. But I'm thankful for a friend and a business person who is willing to speak that life over me to keep me accountable.
Mhm. The other thing, kind of in closing, is you have to, and this is maybe the hardest thing, is you have to really know what you want in order to focus and stick to that goal of this is what I'm going to do no matter what, and not compare yourself to others and not be distracted by what they're doing, which is such a good point that you made, because and you're right. We all, like in this industry, especially when you're constantly looking at Instagram and everyone else, and God, it's like it's impossible not to do that. But
Hmm.
if you just focus on what you want to do with your life, not even your business, just your life, it makes it so much easier. But it's really hard to figure that out, to be honest enough with
Yeah.
yourself to say, this is what I want and this is what I want to go after. Um, I mean, I guess we're bumping up against time, but how did you figure that out? Like, how do you come to that point where you really dig down and figure this is what I want to do? Or is it, I mean, and I feel like it's evolving because now maybe you're going to have to figure out, you're going to have to do some soul searching here too. It's like, what do I
Yeah.
really want? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it is just spending time with it. I honestly have more time blocked on my calendar each week to focus on personal development and self-discovery than I even work on my business. It's a balance. You have to work on yourself
And what
just
does
as
that look like
much.
though? What does that look
Yeah.
like?
It looks like those mastermind groups and
Okay, gotcha.
coaching. It's a lot of conversation. I mean, 2 hours a week. My husband and I have time blocked every single Tuesday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. We are meeting and we're reviewing our lives and we're checking in. Like, are we building what we said we wanted to build? Are we becoming the people we want to build? Years ago when we first started working together, we hired a business coach, and these things cost money, but he specialized in working with couples who work together. Specifically, our situation where the woman is really the one leading the business and the husband is working for the business. He that's what he's devoted his life to working on, and so he spent a lot of time with those things. Um, even my husband, twice a week, he has breakfast with a group of men that are, a few decades older than him, but they've built the life that we aspire to live. And they give him feedback and coach him. And he gets to be in community with people that represent what we want. It's just about setting time to make sure you are on track for those things. And then you build a business around that supports that, and you fill it with people who desire for similar things and help them build the life that they want as well.
We got to get that business coach to come to the medical spa show. I mean,
I
I know that
mean, we always say, I tell people all the time, I'm like, it's sure we do Botox. It's not about the Botox. I have a patient that's about to walk in to come in for a filler. It's not about the filler. It's about helping them build the life that they want to. We just happen to have really cool tools that we do it with.
Mhm.
But I think if we all could learn to be a little bit more honest about what we actually want and also not shy away from it. Like, if you have big dreams, hell yeah, go after those big dreams and be unapologetic about it too.
Mhm. Well, I have a feeling someone who knows there are 18 biographies on John Rockefeller is going to be going for it. That's just me, but we'll see.
Fair, fair.
Um, well, it's always good to catch up. I appreciate your time. I know you're busy. And congrats on everything. And we'll see you in what, 6 weeks, I guess.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can't
6
wait. It's
weeks
going
at
to
the
be a
Med Spa
great
show.
show.
Yeah, I can't believe we're 6 weeks away again. Wow. It's like
The stress just took over.
it's like this is the time where it's just like, oh gosh, it's coming. But it's great talking to you, great catching up. Thanks again for everything, for all your hard work and for all you do for AmSpa. And tell John and the dog we say hello.
Wonderful. Thanks, Alex.
Thank you to our producer, Madeline Moeller, marketing content coordinator, who organizes the podcast schedule and guests and provides topics and talking points. Audio and video editing, voiceover, graphics, and platform management is provided by myself, Derek Hawk, digital marketing supervisor. Our themes are provided by Maka Music. Thank you for watching or listening to the Medical Spa Insider podcast. Please follow or subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for future episodes. Ratings and reviews are greatly appreciated. For more information about the American Med Spa Association, visit americanmedspa.org. Reference to any specific product or entity does not constitute an endorsement or recommendation by AmSpa. Views expressed by guests are their own, and their appearance in the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity that they represent. AmSpa provides this podcast as a full service for educational purposes only. This podcast does not constitute legal advice, nor does it establish an attorney-client relationship. Please consult with an attorney on your legal issues. And as always, thank you for listening to the Medical Spa Insider. Remember, compliance is cool.